Hey guys, Civics Boy here, and what you're looking at is the Cooler Master HAF 912 mid-tower computer case, and I've had this case for quite some time already. I wanted to mess around with the airflow. I wanted to see what I could actually fit into this case, and after all that, I think I'm ready to talk about it. So this isn't going to be a review of this case per se. There are two really good reviews out there that actually go over everything that the Cooler Master HAF 912 offers, and so what this video is going to be about is what I actually did with it and some feedback that might be important to some of you guys who are thinking about getting this case for your next computer build, or maybe just upgrading to this new case. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these features. Alright, so originally this case doesn't come with a black interior. I actually got this modded at a local powder coating shop here in Las Vegas, and I got the interior powder coated this flat black with a matte finish. Turned out really nice. And second thing you'll notice is if you look over here, the case comes with a removable hard drive cage. Now, I've been messing around with the airflow for a while, and I noticed that without that hard drive cage, which I don't have here, and I have a 200mm fan right here, it allows more air to come into the case without that hard drive cage in place right here. So I removed that just for added airflow. Alright, so what you're looking at is the back of the motherboard tray, or the back side of the computer case. Now, if you're anything like me, this is where the majority of your cable management is going to happen. If you remember, we removed the removable hard drive cage right here to add more airflow into the case. The downside to that is, without this hard drive cage, you're not able to hide a lot of the cables behind that cage. Say like SATA cables, or maybe some power cables or something. So if you have some OCD or OCPD tendencies, you can't really hide any cables right here, or else they're going to be showing. Now you can't really see it here. I'll give you a zoomed in view here in a second, but I've cut out some cable management holes right here and at the top right here, and I cut those out using a hole saw, and I did that just for added cable management, so I could run some of the fan controller cables and SATA data cables and power cables from the 5 1/4 inch drive bays out the back, so I can route it through the back of the motherboard tray here. Other than that, I didn't really drill out any more cable management holes because this case has plenty. You have one right here, you have one right here, and you have one right here, and one down here, and at the top you have one big one right here and a small one right up here to run your CPU 8-pin or 4-pin power connector. And like with all my other builds, I use the NZXT premium sleeved power extensions for the 24-pin power and for the 8-pin power. And I just use zip ties and zip tie anchors to basically hold everything down and in place. And right here is my cold cathode inverter box right there, and I have two hard drives right down here. Alright, so there's the one right there, and there's another one right up there. You see all those cables running out of it, data cables, fan controller cables, and whatnot. Running all the way down. Not too bad. And there is that huge CPU cutout on the motherboard tray. One of the biggest I've ever seen. Alright, so since we're pretty much limited to doing all of our cable management right here, I'm going to just go ahead and demonstrate how easy still it is to put on the side panel. And I say it's pretty easy is because the motherboard tray is actually pushed into the case a lot farther than a normal case would. I believe it's about a 1/4 inch inside of the case, giving you a lot of room in between the motherboard tray and the side to do all your cable management. So even with the thick cables like the 24 pin power connector and all that stuff, it's still fairly easy to put this side panel back on. So here, let me go ahead and demonstrate it for you. There you go, just like that. Alright, so before we move on any further, I'm going to just go ahead and show you a quick little mod that I did to turn on and off the cold cathodes. Now I saw another YouTuber do this to his HAF 922 case, and I thought it'd be a cool idea to do it to this case. This is a rocker switch I got from Performance PCs, and all you need to do, I took a I believe it was a 1/2 inch hole saw, and I drilled it into the plastic and onto the case underneath this plastic little bezel. And then I went ahead and I had to shave off a couple centimeters on one side because this rocker switch has like a little tab on the side, and after I shaved that little piece off, it goes in fairly easy and it's pretty snug. So this is a little rocker switch that controls the cold cathode, the one cold cathode light that I have in this case. Alright, looking into the case, and I hope you guys don't mind I use the night vision setting on this camera because my lighting in this room isn't all that great, so the night vision is turned on. So if you see like little bluish greenish tint, there's nothing wrong with your screen, that's just night vision. But anyways, right here, there's not a lot of room between your CPU heatsink and this 200mm fan. That is optional if you plan on using a 200mm fan on top here. You don't have a lot of room between the CPU cooler and this fan. It's about not even a finger width, and I have pretty big hands, pretty big fingers, and I can barely fit my finger between one of the fins of the fan and the CPU heatsink. And now that poses a problem to some people. If you are using this case and you plan on using a Corsair H50 or maybe even the H70 CPU cooler, you won't be able to mount it in this case because of this fan. Now if you didn't have this fan over here, the H50 or the H70 will fit perfectly. But if you do have a fan up here, or maybe just a 120mm fan on the top right here, the H50 or the H70 is not going to fit because, first of all, if you remember from the H50 or H70, the radiator that mounts to the back 120mm fan on your case kind of has like this pretty big lip on top of the radiator, and that is what's causing you not to be able to mount a fan on top here, is because of that lip. I wish I had my H50 so I can show you guys, but I don't. So that's one of the problems that you might run into if you're using this case and an H50 or H70. But I have a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Plus in a push-pull configuration with two fans right here, and it fits. So you got air coming through here, coming out the back in a push-pull, and this 200mm fan is also helping to cool down the heat sink also, because it's basically right on top of each other. So you got that. So keep that in mind when you are going to use this case and an H50 or H70. So here's another look of the case with all the cable management done. Majority of the cables that you see are down here where the power supply is. And I have my two 6-pin PCI Express power connectors coming up here to the graphics card. And this is an EVGA 750i for the Win motherboard. I have a Q6600 Alright guys, that's it. That's pretty much the Cooler Master HAF 912. Now the price right now is $60. It's $59.99 retail price. And as you saw with a few quick mods, this case has a lot of potential in becoming a really sexy mid-tower computer case. If you're thinking about upgrading or thinking about switching cases, for the price and for what you get as far as the options, the Cooler Master HAF 912 is a pretty awesome computer case. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Civics Boy is out.